Hey everybody, just want to take a second to talk about this noodle head project I'm working on. Someone had asked, how do I plan on attaching the axles to the uh, plastic base that goes into the metal chassis? And to be quite honest with you, I had no idea what I was going to do with that. My first thought was to just take a little bit of tube and glue the tube axle to the metal chassis. And I thought, maybe I can do a little better for this one. I don't know. So I've got these 0.78 millimeter tubes, axles from Aliexpress, and I've used them on a couple of different projects, and I really like them. They're made out of stainless. They're nice and thin, and they shine up quite nicely when you polish them. I use flits to polish my axles and such with the Dremel tool. It works out really well. So the first thing I had to do was take a small drill bit and drill out the hole uh, that was for the 0.02 inch axle that they originally came with the early 70's era Hot Wheels. And to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why these things were so fast, is that the axles were very thin and very shiny. And they made for zero friction, or not zero friction, but a very low coefficient of friction that enabled these cars to just really speed along. They did away with those somewhere along the line. I'm not an expert. I don't know exactly what happened when. But somewhere along the line, they went to these little bit larger axles, probably for some strength. Because I guarantee you there was lots of complaints about bend axles back in the day. But the newer axles are much thicker. And anyways, in order for me to fit that, I had to take out my little mini set of metric drill bits, and I think I drilled it out to 0.75. So I drilled that out to 0.75 both spots, and I was able to slide the Aliexpress axle in there without too much issue. And then I mounted a couple of newer style wheels on it, and they roll pretty well. So this should be a pretty decent car, I'm thinking. But if you notice, the one issue that you end up with is that the old style captured the axle head underneath the cap. So when you put your base on, your wheel base, and then you slap the cap over it, well, the cap was your retainer, and really low friction. I mean, the hole in the hub is very small, and the low friction where the axle head would rest on the wheel itself, captured there, held the wheel in place, and really was a nice setup. And I can't emulate that with these newer style wheels. So I am going to have more rub on the chassis where the newer style wheel meets the chassis. Um, I had considered doing a couple of other things to it, but I'm going to just try this first because I've polished this, and I'll put some graphite on those spaces where that fits. But the wheels themselves, let's see, that's the back. Yep. So that wheel fits on there, and they slide nicely into the space, and it's held in as it should be. Let me flip it over the right way. It's held in as it should be in the retainer here, and with the rivet in the center, and the wheel has a little play on both sides, and it still spins pretty well. Like I said, when I polish that and get that set up with with the lubricant, then I'll be good to go. So that'll be the front, and I'm sorry, that's the back, and I got a set of fronts that are very similar to the original style. Sadly, the axles for the the wheels for the fronts were just a little too short. So anyways, doesn't matter. I'm going to use the new axle. The new axle uses pins to hold it in place. And what I found is that these are nice. The pins that came with it are a little small. They're point. The .56, and they're not very good at maintaining in the space here. So I've tried a couple of different sizes and found no good fit. But I did find these pins who have a nice fit into the axle hole, and with a little bit of pressure, they will mount up in there. And then when I tap them home, they hold quite nicely. No glue required. So cutting the axle to the size allows me to have a nice even fit on a nice super straight and super slick axle. So I'm expecting these to perform hopefully as well as the originals, if not a little better. So anyways, that's all I have. So far my project is coming along pretty well. I just need to squirt that again with a little bit of clear coat. I polished up the Noodle head motor, and I plan on giving the squirt to the blue canopy, and then maybe put that in or leave it out depending upon the weight that I'm looking for. So that's it. That was my plan for noodle head axle replacement. If you've got something interesting that you've done with your noodle heads that you're willing to share, go ahead and post it in the comments down there. I look forward to hearing what you got. Thanks.